Okay, so I just wanted to do a little demo of my MIDI to Orca project, which I've actually got working pretty easily. So basically, if I control a knob on my Beatstep Pro here, um, you can kind of see it coming in visually in this. This is the little front end for the application. So you can see here as I turn it, the value is changing. um, and that value is kind of being converted to base 36 and being written as a glyph in Orca um, right at this variable here. So as I turn the knob, you can kind of see a glyph being written that goes from 0 to Z, and I'm just using that to generate an east operator here, which is just just kind of an example. But you could use this to really do anything. It just writes one glyph per knob right now, so I have three, so I can control a different knob here and a different knob here. I just have three of the knobs set up right now, but I'm thinking of mapping my entire Beatstep Pro. Um, so that's kind of the demo, and then just to give a little bit of a technical background, I've kind of worked off of two different projects. I use the Enfer front end. Enfer is a tool that is used, was created by the creator of Orca to map an Akai LPD8 MIDI controller, I believe. And it uses tone.js to generate some audio, and it also triggers some WAV files with the pads on that controller. But that already had a really nice knob front end. So I kind of use that for the front end elements, and then there is an AIOI UDP and OSC router slash debugger that someone else created to use with Orca. And since that already kind of had a mechanism for sending UDP to Orca, which I kind of wanted to look at, I kind of use the back end from that. So it's really a mashup of these two different projects, and it's just kind of using an Electron shell, just like all of the other applications. Right now it's pretty basic. I just made it so that you can select a device. Everything as far as mapping right now is hard coded, but the idea being that I could potentially integrate that into the GUI so that you wouldn't have to actually edit any code to get controllers up and running, and also maybe coming up with some sort of a device loading framework, so that you could kind of create device definitions and then load them. So just to kind of give you a sample of that code, this is kind of the Beatstep Pro configuration file. The idea being that you could create such a definition for different devices, which allows you to filter each control, so a knob or a pad ID. You can filter those, and then you can also have an offset, an X offset and Y offset, which is just kind of where the glyph will be generated within Orca, and that's relative to kind of like this base position. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to deal with that yet, but basically you can decide where you want to put these in Orca. So you could either um, put them directly where you want them to appear, or like I did here, I just kind of space them out enough so that I could send them to variables. And I'm thinking that that's the type of thing, like the Orca placement is something that maybe I would build into a GUI along with the labels. Yeah, so that's kind of my idea. I just wanted to throw it out there, see if anyone thought it would be useful. Because I mean, I could just as easily get this up and running for myself and just kind of, you know, play around with it. But if other people were interested, maybe I would invest more time into creating something that someone could use without knowing how to program. So thanks for listening.